For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Now that the NBA regular season is over, here's what's on the menu for the Lakers and Clippers. The Lakers are meeting up with the Houston Rockets in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. Game 1 in the best of 7 is Saturday at Crypto.com, 5:30 p.m. tip-off. The Clippers are the number 9 seed in the play-in round. That means they will have to win 2 games to make the playoffs. First game is Wednesday night against Golden State at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, 7 p.m. tip-off. If the Clippers win, they would play Friday night at Phoenix or at Portland. The WNBA draft is tonight. The 3-round event starts at 4:30 on ESPN. No first-round pick for the LA Sparks because of a trade with the Seattle Storm in 2024. 4 UCLA players are projected to go in the first round. Lauren Betts, Kiki Rice, Gianna Neekins, and Gabriela Jaquez. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, host of The Voice of Reason, weeknights at 7 p.m. here on KBLA Talk 1580, with a personal invitation for you to join me and Insight.me as we present The Healing Box, live at Inglewood's world-famous Miracle Theater, Saturday evening, May 23rd at 7 p.m. Look, I understand your attachment style has been running your life like a rogue algorithm, and nobody has had the courage to press pause. Until now, Dr. Pakoya McCall and yours truly are curating a night where clinicians, spiritualists, and an all-star panel of Black woman healers like Dr. Shalonda Sunshine Crawford, Dr. Jashana Johnson, and spiritualist Precious McGill will join some amazing spoken word artists and the legendary comedian Louis Dix to diagnose, disrupt, and heal your relational wreckage in real time. Listen, bring your trauma. As a matter of fact, bring your baby mama. No, bring your testimony. And if you're still texting your ex at 2 a.m., baby, you're not just invited, you're the target demo. Tickets are moving fast, so grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before your dating history gets flagged as a pre-existing condition. That's themiracleinglewood.com. We'll see you there Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m.
I knew God was with me. I always used to pray. My prayer was I asked God not to let the devil kill me out here while I was in the streets before I could get back. But I said, if you give me one more chance at life and music, I promise you, I'm going to shout you out and I'm going to testify and we're going to have a little church up in there.
Waking up, thanking God. Every day is feeling just like Sunday. Wifey fly by my side. Green light, everything is going my way. Riding clean, living dreams. Just left the barber and I'm feeling like Midas. Heard him say, give him praise. What's in the water got you acting like this? Ain't a day go by that I don't try to thank the Lord up above. And if you wonder why I'm loving life, I'm close and I tell you what's up. Listen. Ask me how I'm doing, I'm blessed. Yes, living every moment, no regrets. Smile up on my face, I'm like, oh, yes, I'm blessed. Yes, I'm blessed. Yes, ask me how I'm doing, I'm blessed.
Yep,
yes,
blessed. Sahara Ali is on vacation. You can still tap in with her on SaharaAli.com, but me and Miles are mindful today. Me and Miles are mindful. And I love that song because it connects me with gratitude. And every time I start feeling stank, I'm mad, I'm frustrated, I'm jealous, I'm angry. Gratitude is one of the things that can always bring me back. Gratitude. And one of my favorite things that Sahara says is focus on what you want, not what you don't want. I tell myself that when I hear myself complaining. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Well, I don't want this, and I hate this, and I don't want no person that does that. What do you want? What are you asking the universe for? That song, music is one of the ways that I talk myself off the ledge. And for me, mindfulness is staying in a positive imagination, building rather than destroying, staying in a place of creativity rather than a place of competition. And it requires what I call self-parenting, where I become my own parent. And I say, okay, what's going to make you feel better? Instead of sitting here crying, getting angry, breaking stuff, what are the things we do that move us to a place of peace, to a place of productivity, to a place of gratitude? Drink some water, take a walk, listen to music with positive lyrics and messages, do some breathing. Miles, how do you talk yourself off the ledge?
You hit a big one right there when you just said take a walk. I've been big on my, especially as the season's changing and the weather's warming up, getting some cardio, getting some fresh air. I'm really deep into the tech space and AI space right now as of late. And when you get that deep into it, you really do need to, it's a popular word now, but actually get out there and touch grass. Like literally go out there and touch nature and experience nature and reconnect with, your circadian rhythm, how your body's supposed to interact with the world, not just on the clock. And, something like that has definitely been helping keeping me stable and keeping me aligned. And it's not about finding a state of balance. It's not an actual state. It's actually the action of balancing. So, yeah, actually balancing and being alert and aware of where you're lacking, where you need help at, where you can use some massaging in your life, and where you're strong, where your energy's coming from. So being mindful, 100% mindful.
Which the literal definition of mindful is staying in the present, right?
Yeah.
So when we get caught up in a worry loop, that's living in the past or projecting fears into the future. If we can stay in the moment we're in right now, what am I touching? What am I doing? What am I tasting? What am I smelling? That's mindfulness. It's being present. And that's really important because the present is the only thing we actually have. We're worrying about the future or worrying about the past. It doesn't help us to move forward. I'm always in a time crunch. I got to do so many things today. And I read that we always have time to do what we need to do as long as we stay in the present.
Okay. Say that again.
We always have time to do everything we need to do as long as we stay grounded in the present, in this moment where we are, what we have now, because everything else is theoretical. There's another quote that I love. This one is from Iyanla Vanzant, and she says, "Comparison is an act of violence against the self." So what does that mean when you start saying, well, I wish I had his car. I wish I had her, her hair. I wish I had her boyfriend, husband. I wish I had his money, job, opportunity, fame. We're actually committing violence against ourselves because we're disparaging what we have rather than being grateful for what we have, rather than focusing on what we want and what we control. We're focusing on what we want as from a state of deprivation, from a one down place. And so I love that quote. Comparison is an act of violence against the soul, because I do think that in our corporate culture, this very competitive dog-eat-dog capitalist system, we are encouraged to keep up with the Joneses, to constantly compete and compare. And it doesn't I don't believe it serves us.
Not at all, not at all. And I think the trick that we fall for is we start believing these projections of ourselves that the world is telling us, like we lack, like we're not important, like we're in the rear playing catch up and not in the front creating our own life. You know what I mean? So now we're living off it's actually a cold game. We're living off the reactions based off something they gave us, not us actually living in the moment of power that we have and what we can create. So, definitely get out your own head and stop believing the narrative told about you,
One of the Coach used to always say, just talk about staying in a creative rather than competitive mind state. And if you think about it this way, when they were driving horse and buggies instead of cars, if you were sitting around thinking about how to make a better buggy or how to get a better horse than the next man, that's the competitive mindset. The creative mindset is, what's another way to get around? Maybe I should invent a car or a plane or a motorcycle. So you're over here, while you're over here giving the side eye to what is, you're not creating what's next.
Exactly.
And so that gratitude and staying in the present are the two biggest tools, along with practical things. Drink some water. You don't have to be Forrest Gump and walk all across America. Just go around the block once or twice. Can completely reset your day.
Stretch.
Do some yoga. Do some simple stretching. Reach for your toes. Be mindful of breathing.
Jump around. Get your body flowing.
Jump around. If you can jump around. If you can't jump around, dance in place. Do some chair yoga. And so on that note, I think even though Sahara's not here, we can do a little bit of breathing, the mindfulness breathing that I practice every morning before I come to this show as part of my meditation. So if you can sit down or stand where you are and be a little comfortable, kind of get your back in a nice upright position, fight the tech neck, and don't slump over. Don't practice being a hunchback.
Head up, chest out.
As what Coach E would call winning posture.
Yeah.
And take that deep breath in. We're going to go in 4, hold 4, and exhale 6. Okay? Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Yes, through the nose. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time. And you can breathe in and out through your nose, or breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Or you can alternate. One more time. Try to really take this inhale really, really big. As much air as you can in this count of 4. And in, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, just take one moment and set your intention for the day. Today, I intend to be productive, or I intend to be grateful, or I intend to be creative, or I intend to practice healing. Just one simple thing for the new week, right, DJ Black 909, and then take another moment and set your intention for this week. This week, I will be kind to myself. This week, I will be positive. This week, I will be grateful. I like grateful. You can never go wrong with that.
This week, I will attract enough money to pay all my bills, regardless of how it comes to me.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Put it out there, y'all.
Put it out there. Whatever your intention is, now we're ready for the week ahead. We just got to stay planted in the present. And my 2 quotes for the week are Sahara Ali's famous, "Focus on what you want, not what you don't want," and Iyanla Vanzant, "Comparison is an act of violence against the self." Okay, Sahara Ali will be back next week for Mindful Monday. I know you'll be grateful to have her back, but we're keeping you mindful. Miles and Dominique keeping you mindful in the moment and staying connected. I think more positive and important than ever with the terrible, horrible, very bad vibes coming out of Washington, D.C. Perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
The Joint will be jumping. Ebony Repertory Theater, in association with Fig Street Films, brings you one of the most beloved musicals of all time. Tony Award winner, Ain't Misbehavin'. The soulful, swinging celebration of the music of Fats Waller. From the rollicking to the romantic, this show is pure magic, full of the songs that defined an era and the voices that'll make you forget everything else for a night. foot-stomping, heart-stirring, unforgettable. Don't miss Ain't Misbehavin' at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center, starring Lettucey, directed by Ren T. Brown. This is the night out you've been waiting for. Tickets are going fast, so don't wait. Grab yours now at ebonyrep.org or call the box office today at 323-964-9766. Ebony Repertory Theater, bringing the culture, keeping the legacy alive.
Ain't Misbehavin' runs May 21st through June 8th at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets now.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a cybersecurity engineer at a publicly traded company.
We've been hacked! They're through our firewall!
How is that even possible?
They got my password.
Please don't tell me your password was password.
It's actually password 1.
This is a job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Paid for by government. The 1986 to 2021 United States Silver Eagle, the first ever U.S. silver dollar minted in 99.9% pure silver and is the best-selling coin in the world. These original and historic silver dollars have ceased production forever. They will never be minted again. For a limited time only, full pound bags of original U.S. government-struck silver dollars are being released to the public. You can own a full pound of original U.S. silver dollar coins featuring Lady Liberty and the heraldic eagle, never to be struck again. Guaranteed. Call now to secure original United States Silver Eagles by the pound. The first U.S. silver dollars ever to be struck in 99.9% pure silver. Plus, receive a free bonus, an American Collector's Pack valued at over $40 and free shipping with every order. Call 1-800-560-6468 now to secure your full pound bag of United States Silver Eagle coins before they are gone. That's 1-800-560-6468.
The conversation continues right now with Dominic DePrima on First Things First.
Wow. Wow. The Melania Trump speech was pretty wild. She got up. I don't know if you saw it. She talked about, she basically did like a denial speech that I'm not an Epstein survivor. I'm not an Epstein victim. All these terrible rumors about me have to stop. And it was kind of like she was running for office. I mean, it was similar to Eric Swalwell's speech, if you really think about it. She's like, these allegations must stop now. But it's very strange because, first of all, she rarely talks in public. Second of all, she has definitely revived the Epstein conversation, taken it out from underneath the Iran war, which some people feel was the reason for her to do it because the war was not going over well. But I think we're still paying attention to the war. It's hard to miss it when gas prices and oil prices are up and actual humans are being killed every day in Lebanon and Iran. The other thing is that what I said when I first heard this, aside from the fact that, okay, I don't think Donald Trump is happy about this. I don't think he should be or is, because it's going to bring the Epstein conversation back loud to the front of the public discourse. And like I said, some folks say, well, he's trying to distract from the war in Iran. But the other thing is that her solution is not prosecute the people in the files who have clearly broken the law. She's not saying, why are the only people that are being criminally investigated or criminally prosecuted over in the UK? She's not asking, why is the Trump Justice Department saying the Epstein case is over, open and closed? She's not saying that. What she's saying is, have the women, the victims, testify under oath before Congress, a hostile Congress at that, right? And so I was happy to see some of the survivors come out with their statement and say that they've already, they've done their part. They've actually spoken in front of Congress. Remember that? When the Attorney General refused to look at them? as their statement says, survivors of Jeffrey Epstein have already shown extraordinary courage by coming forward, filing reports, and giving testimony. Asking more of them now is a deflection of responsibility, not justice. And that was a much better articulation of what I was trying to say. If you really want to see something done about it, how about some prosecutions? How about bringing some charges, criminal charges? You have 6 million pages of files. You've released half of them. How about releasing all of the files? She doesn't call for that. She calls for more testimony from survivors. And Marina Lacerda is one of the survivors. She wrote, "You want to re-traumatize us and ask us to go in front of Congress and tell them our story, which we have told some of them already, and then do absolutely nothing." And that's what I was trying to get to, but didn't get to as clearly as what they're saying. So really what this was a CYA for Melania. And I think it's because of all of these photos that are floating around. I think it's because it's pretty much, at least in the internet streets, widely accepted that Trump was introduced by Melania by Epstein, which she specifically denies in her speech, even though Epstein brags in those files that he slept with Melania before the president did. Those are his words, not mine. She says Epstein didn't introduce her to Trump. They just happened to meet at a party when he was still married to Marla Maples. I mean, no shade, but it's very puzzling because are you running for president? Her approval rating's very, very low. She may be the least popular first lady in history, or at least since we've been keeping track and polling the way we do now. At the moment, I mean, she could bounce back, but I don't understand what is she never cared. She was the one that wore the "I don't really care, do you" dress or shirt, jacket, or whatever it was. She doesn't speak out much in public. And she is at minus 12 points approval rating. So the most unpopular first lady at this point in term 1 or term 2 of a presidency. I don't think that speech helped her. I'm not sure. I know it didn't help Trump. And I guess we'll see in the coming days what lawsuits or allegations come forward. There's some speculation on the internets that a former friend of hers is about to tell all, because that former friend is the same lady that was deported to Brazil at the request of her ex-husband, who requested directly to Trump, which is crazy. Deport my baby mama. There's some other speculation that a book just came out in Britain, which details her early life in ways that are not flattering, make her seem like an alleged escort, and that she's trying to clean up her image. I just found it very, very, very bizarre. It feels like just another sign that the wheels are coming off in the Trump administration. Let's go to Big Phil calling us from L.A. Good morning, Big Phil.
Good morning. Devils don't sleep. You ever found out what happened to Linda? I was concerned about it. Never found out what happened to her. I know her daughter got murdered years ago.
Yeah, I have not spoken with her, no.
Okay, well, here's what I have to do. You know what? Snoop Dogg, it's sad. I'm glad about it. He's still living that thug life. I had to turn to Google. He's talking about MF and N's, all of this. They need to go to the trash can. We need to listen to some of Miles.
Wait, who needs to go to the trash can?
Snoop Dogg, the album. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm saying he's 55 years old talking about N and MF. Who won't listen to that garbage? Listen to some Miles. Listen to Chance the Rapper, okay? Listen to Comic, okay? That's what our kids need. He's 55, 54 years old? Oh, my Lord have mercy. Anyway, I got to get to the airport. Look here, I love you guys. We need a good message to our kids. Too old for that mess. I'm out. Love you.
Love you more. I wonder if do kids listen to Snoop Dogg's music, though? I mean, now? I know they like Snoop Dogg, the character, the guy who's at the Olympics, the guy who's, on the video games and live streams and IG, but do young people listen to Snoop's albums?
I mean, Snoop's catalog, not like his new albums, probably not. No, I don't think the kids are on Spotify like, yeah, let's bump that Snoop. I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, and also, when you talk about rap music or rock and roll music or American pop culture, including television and film, this is not the place to look for role models for our children. And I think the fact that we point the finger more at rap and hip hop than we do at cop shows and video games and film and television is an imbalance, because our culture glorifies violence and money. Kind of like your intention. Money by any means necessary. That's what our culture glorifies. I mean, yeah, we say drug dealers are bad, but then they go on to when they go on to become established wealthy families, we celebrate them for their journey. I'm thinking about the Kennedys, who, came up through the illegal alcohol business when we had prohibition. Or even someone like Jay-Z, who talked about being a dealer, but now is a billionaire and a mucky muck with the NFL, right? So we glorify money, we glorify violence. That's the American way, the North American U.S. way. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I do think it's kind of bad, but what I'm saying is we have a double standard because we scrutinize that in hip hop in a way that we don't scrutinize it in other parts of the culture.
What you're saying is that the Kennedys, we could have had our own Kennedy family with like Big Meech and stuff like that. What could have been, Dominique? I see what you.
Well, no, it is happening. It is happening. There are former drug dealers who are now wealthy hip hop entrepreneurs. I'm not going to name any more names. They've named themselves. And now they're crossing over into the mainstream of billionaire American culture, like the Kennedys before them and whoever came before that. I mean, the Bushes were arms dealers, kind of similar, right? The Bushes sold guns to the Nazis, and now they're an American dynasty.
What's the answer? The answer, we got to tear down the house and rebuild, or is the answer sell Big Mama's house and we build something new? Like, what are we doing here?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about the U.S. house,
about the hip hop culture,
the hip hop house.
Big Phil called in talking about.
So, okay, what I'm saying is the hip hop house, when it comes to violence and money, is following the capitalist playbook for the most part. If you want to do a critique of capitalism and the U.S. culture of excess, right, of conspicuous consumption and violence, it has to be an across-the-board critique. We just can't hold black people in hip-hop culture accountable. We have to hold all of our popular culture accountable, and we're either going to... Trump is tearing down the whole house, not just hip-hop, the American house. So what are we going to build back? I don't think it's build back better. I think it's build back something completely reimagined.
Right. I think the first thing, though, we got to do is at least get the remix out the juke joint, though, first and foremost.
How do we do that?
Garlic.
I'm sorry, say again?
Garlic.
Garlic or wooden stakes. 800-920-1580 if you want to weigh in. Dominique DePrima, that's Miles Lowe, and this is KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. The country's second largest school district looks like it'll be in session this week. Sunday morning, Los Angeles Unified announced the district and the teachers union struck a tentative 2-year agreement, possibly avoiding a strike that was set to start tomorrow. LAUSD says teachers' pay scales will go up 11.65%, and the starting salary for a teacher will be $77,000 a year. An organization that supports and promotes Black-owned businesses brought its national tour to Memphis this weekend. The event, called Shop Black Fest, featured 90 vendors offering everything from food to clothing and live music. And the WNBA draft is happening tonight in New York City. The main event will air on ESPN at 7 p.m. The Dallas Mavericks hold the top overall pick. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Now that the NBA regular season is over, here's what's on the menu for the Lakers and Clippers. The Lakers are meeting up with the Houston Rockets in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. Game 1 in the best of 7 is Saturday at Crypto.com, 5:30 p.m. tip-off. The Clippers are the number 9 seed in the play-in round. That means they will have to win 2 games to make the playoffs. First game is Wednesday night against Golden State at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, 7 p.m. tip-off. If the Clippers win, they would play Friday night at Phoenix or at Portland. The WNBA draft is tonight. The 3-round event starts at 4:30 on ESPN. No first-round pick for the LA Sparks because of a trade with the Seattle Storm in 2024. 4 UCLA players are projected to go in the first round: Lauren Betts, Kiki Rice, Gianna Neekins, and Gabriela Jaquez. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Can we just talk?
You've heard me say it before, how we talk to one another matters. Earlier this year, we launched our first cohort, and I'm grateful to those who leaned in early and helped to shape the work. Now I'm inviting you to join me for a new live seminar, The Practice of Dialogue, Becoming a More Effective Communicator. This is a small group experience designed to help you strengthen how you communicate in your work, your relationships, and your everyday life. Space is limited to keep the experience personal and interactive. So if you're ready to take your communication to the next level, now is the time to focus on the skills that make conversations meaningful. The new 4-week cohort begins Monday, May 4th, and there's a nice discount for early bird registrants. Visit TavishTalks.com to learn more and reserve your place today. That's TavishTalks.com, because better conversations don't just happen, we practice them.
On top of home and auto, Progressive protects your boat, RV, and motorcycle so you can explore the unknown.
Actually, we just take the RV to the same campground every year.
Well, maybe you can catch your own dinner on your boat.
Oh, we can actually get pizza delivered there from this brick oven place we love.
Will you at least try a new topping?
Honestly, probably not. We kind of have a go-to order.
Fine. Just bundle home or auto insurance with your outdoor vehicles with Progressive and stay protected when you go, I guess, where you've gone before. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Break out the champagne. Everybody get a laugh.
You know, 5 years goes fast when you're doing something you love. 5 years of being right there with you, in your car, in your kitchen, at work, in your earbuds. And we don't take that for granted, not for a second. When it came time to celebrate our 5th anniversary, we knew it had to mean something. And we're celebrating on the most fitting day there is, Juneteenth. We're still putting the finishing touches on something really special. And before we tell the world, we want to tell you first. Once we announce this event publicly, we expect that seats are going to go fast, really fast. So, go to our website right now at KBLA1580.com and sign up to make sure you're the very first to hear what we've got planned. Before we go public with all the details, you've been riding with us. It's only right you're first to know. KBLA1580.com. We'll see you on Juneteenth for our 5th anniversary banger. Banger, banger, banger.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
Okay, there's a lot of stuff I wanted to cover. Miles just reminded me of one thing, but I do need to say about Melania, it's true that she has not just taken the genie out of the bottle for the president, but also for herself, because so many internet sleuths are now digging up pictures and video and emails and tweets and texts, and it is, as The Guardian put it, a nightmare of her own making. It's PR 101. They call it the Barbra Streisand effect. And this, I love the way this writer put it in The Guardian. Her name is Zara Madawi, and she wrote, now we might soon be referencing the Melania Trump effect, the phenomena where holding a surprise press conference to state that you did not have a relationship with a dead pedophile and would like people to please stop speculating about the matter immediately causes people to start speculating about the matter. So, it just seems like a really, really, really dumb move, but one I'm enjoying immensely. You reminded me that we saw the transition of one of hip-hop's foundational figures. They call him the godfather of hip-hop, Afrika Bambaataa, died. He was 68 years old. He's a rapper and a DJ and MC from the Bronx and founder of the Zulu Nation. KRS-One once said, without Afrika Bambaataa, there is no hip-hop. I don't know. I feel like hip-hop, I don't want to argue with KRS-One, but it was like it broke out in many places and had many iterations where black people are all over this country. But in any case, he was accused of being a pedophile by the people that he allegedly assaulted. And so that's made it tougher to talk about Afrika Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation and his passing. I think, Miles, you were saying you had we're having a conversation with friends about this. I was having a conversation by myself with Instagram about this. Is he one of the great founders of hip hop? Yes. Does he have credible allegations of being a sex abuser, pedophile? Yes. And both can be true, right?
100%. They both are true. And, a lot of things can be true at the same time. But yeah, my guy was talking about this weekend was talking about just how hip hop really is our culture, of course, but we're putting it into the frame of hip hop being what we're speaking of the culture. We're at a point where the house is divided, is what he was saying. Where yes, we know the past, but we know the history and the greatness that has come from it. So at what point are we at now? Are we at a point where we throw the whole entire house away, or do we try to salvage it? Can we take the poison out of the hip hop, or is it better to try and let it go and try to find something new? Are we really upset and outraged about Afrika Bambaataa? If so, there's a long list of names you can pull out.
You never throw in art. You don't throw everything away. You don't throw everything away, because even when you say you are, you're not.
But then do you?
Because it's like KRS-One said, how can there be a Miles Lowe without I won't just say Afrika Bambaataa. They credit Kool Herc, they credit Grandmaster Flash, but I'm just saying, without what came before, without a Gil Scott-Heron, there's no Afrika Bambaataa.
Right,
without an Afrika Bambaataa, there's no Miles Lowe. And so we don't throw away everything, but I think we have to be clear-eyed in our analysis and rejection of the parts that no longer serve us or that never served us, even if we thought they did.
You were just saying, though, that's a large chunk of the culture is drug dealing culture and poverty culture and essay culture and pimping and hoeing and, you know what I mean? Like, that's a big, long part of it.
But that's not just hip hop. That's the American story. That's the USA story. I'm not saying, I just don't think you throw it away. I think you have to have a clear analysis of what it is. And to be honest with you, the fact that the underclass speaks through hip hop is not a negative. It's one of the few things that's amplified the struggles of the poor and working class in this country. It's just that we can't then glorify the things that we say we're working and rapping to get away from, to rise above, right?
100%. And I think, like, beyond just in this country, like, worldwide, we're watching, you know what I mean? I don't know if you saw the Lego movies that Iran's been putting out with hip-hop.
Of course, lots of them. Interesting that they do it in a rap format because they know that's what influences people.
Exactly.
And whoever that is that's writing and doing those is actually pretty good.
They going in. So I'm saying, like, it's
it's not even corny rap.
Not at all. It's very, it's chip hop. That's the word we're going with. Not hip hop. It's chip hop, but
meaning AI.
The AI, you know what I mean? The chips are what's generating it. It's not coming from the spirit and the soul like that. But for what it can be used, like I'm saying, you can take hip hop and make so much with it. You can make propaganda with it, as you've seen.
It's always been
political. All art's political.
It's always been, all art is political, but hip hop is specially suited to move the crowd. That's what it's, I mean, even more because you're telling a story, you're talking, you're doing poetry, you're making ciphers. It's, yes, lyrics can do that too in songs, but it's much more direct and you get more words per song.
100%, you know, and that's what I'm saying. But besides that, though, the thing is that Afrika Bambaataa represented the other side of hip hop, though. He didn't represent the party and BS side. He represented, there's the hip, then there's the hop. He wasn't the just hop and dance around. He was the hip. So now to figure out that is this is the tainted hands that was pushing the hip on
you. The tainted hands are everywhere. We're coming up under a capitalist system. If you work in a poop factory, don't be surprised if you get something on you.
But everybody
Even
can't be upset and outraged if that's the case.
No,
though.
we can be because we have discernment. Just because we're coming up in the belly of the beast doesn't mean we don't reject the stank. The thing to do is work to improve our character, work to improve the character of the culture, is work to uplift the elements that serve us and minimize those that don't.
What about the victims? What about the people that have been chewed up and spit out on all fronts of it?
That means elevating their stories and believing their stories when they've been found credible, when the investigation is done. But you don't think that there's stank on the conscious side and the so-called party side?
There is. There definitely is. That's what I'm saying. It's like
just like there's stinking Republicans and stinking Democrats. The problem, the goal is to get rid of, or minimize the things that bring destruction and amplify the things that bring elevation.
Does that equal healing, you're saying?
That's
that equal
the
we're
path
just building
to
on top of you know what I mean, splintered wood. I'm just playing devil's advocate because I'm still going to rap hip-hop.
I never advocate for the devil.
I advocate.
People's advocate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. I think that's one way of looking at it, but I don't look at it that way because you can't throw away your ancestors. Your DNA is your DNA. It's in every cell of your body. So you can't, that'd be like throwing away the 9 generations of your ancestors and throwing away your physical body because it has the DNA of enslavers. No, you've got to heal that. You've got to build on that. You've got to break those generational cycles of trauma and work through it.
But just as quick as you can change the story of your DNA with your own identity is just as quick as I think you can, switch it up through hip hop. I'm not advocating that be what anybody does. I'm just saying it's a great conversation to have to really digest on what the next move is as being the stewards and groundbreakers of this culture and this art form for sure.
Here's the thing. With a house, if you have a splintered foundation, you can do demolition and get a new foundation.
Don't sell the land. No.
With a culture, with an ancestral legacy, if you burn down, if you take out the foundation, you don't just go and get another one. Those are your ancestors. You have to heal them. Otherwise, you will not heal yourself. Those ghosts, those habits, that trauma, that the intergenerational trauma, that will persist if you do not heal it. You can't just burn it down. You can't just do demo and build a new house. It's not like a purely physical structure. It's spiritual, it's familial, it's actual flesh and blood. You know what I mean? It's different. It's not like a house. It's a family.
100%. Yeah. I don't know, Dominique. I get it, but I do think that there's room for new. There's room for renewal. There's room for...
What does burn down the house look like? What does that even mean?
Saying I feel like what burn down the house would look like is because there's a long list of people and situations and stuff that we've been through and traumas that there are people responsible at every level. So if we're going to take it down step by, if we're going to rebuild this house and take all the bricks down and do full demolition, that comes with getting into the dirty parts of, like you said, the drug dealer culture, the pimp culture, the executives, the label owners.
Well, we have cultural epigenetics, is what I'm saying. And so you can't just burn it down. You have to heal it. And you can say, Ben Frank says Afrika Bambaataa was not cool at all. You can acknowledge his role in building the culture and reject his criminal, terrible tendencies. Two things can be true because, and this is why I came to the conclusion a long time ago, I'm not trying to censor your music. If y'all want to listen to R. Kelly, that's on you. If y'all want to listen to Elvis, who is also a pedophile, that's on you. I choose not to because it makes me feel like throwing up in my mouth. But that's my personal choice. If we start, what does that look like, burning down the house? Does it mean we excommunicate Afrika Bambaataa and pretend he never existed?
Does it, to rebuttal on that, does that mean we still hold up the Afrika Bambaataa beam in the middle of the hip hop house with the Hall of Fame shrine around it saying, yo, this Afrika Bambaataa right here, y'all. This is...
What I do is I try to fairly attribute his contribution to the culture without glorifying the man. And I try to investigate the extent to which that kind of abuse permeated the culture. Is it isolated to this man, or is it something that was part of the whole? Like if you look at Eric Swalwell, right, who just stepped down from the California governor's race. Is it just him, or is it a whole bunch of those sex pests in Congress? And I suspect it's the former. And if so, then how do we purge that from the culture while still keeping whatever productive things came out of it?
I mean, and you're a high-level thinker, Dominique, so, I mean, it seems pretty easy for me, too, to compartmentalize and be able to do that. But in a situation as deep as what this music genre has given us, I don't think it's going to be that easy for everybody. And it's cool for us to be the thought leaders and put this out here and, have a high-level convo on it. But from a feeling standpoint, from a ideological standpoint, from the standpoint of it being our brand as Black Americans, something we've cooked up that is represented around the world, and they're discovering more and more about what our history is, I think that conversation is going to keep coming up more and more, whether we heal from it mentally and know the steps on how we can heal from it or
that's
not.
Cultural reparation, and it's the part of it that's our own. It's the part of it that's our own responsibility. Ben Frank says Cube said the best hip hop started in the West. I tend to be very West Coast centric, but we got our predators too, and we have our own mess too. I mean, my friend Eazy-E was the one talking about grab her by the basket weave, and Dre did it, right? I mean, he's not the only one. So that culture of abuse, of sex pesting and sex assault, of domestic violence, my whole point earlier was it's not just in hip hop. Yeah. It is a central feature of U.S. culture that has to be purged. Do we throw out the baby with the bathwater? I say no. But we have to have a clear-eyed analysis that does not make apologies for the toxic aspects of the culture.
Right. We don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, but we do gotta burn the remix with the juke joint sometimes. We gotta if the roof is on fire, let that it's part of the song.
But and one thing I didn't see in the film is who's building the next juke joint, who's building that house. I mean, even
that wasn't even a juke joint. It was a slaughterhouse beforehand. We can make a juke joint out of anything, is what the twins showed us.
Right, but also like You can't throw it all away. It doesn't work that way. You never get a clean slate. A clean slate is always an illusion, because even you're always building on something.
How clean is it really to begin with, though, even if?
A clean slate is an illusion, but clear character, correct intentions, deep and meaningful healing is the way forward, because you can clean up a toxic waste dump. What happens when the whole world is a toxic waste dump?
Right.
You don't do like Elon and try to fly to Mars. You got to start cleaning that stuff up and doing some healing.
Dominique has definitely been on her Dr. Goss cleanse, y'all. So she's thinking very clearly and very functional about a culture that was brewed up in a very dysfunctional time. And it's still suffering. You know what I mean?
I like what Courtney says. The devil's still the devil, but we can't let the negative kill our spirit or the culture. And because we are the babies of this empire, we have the characteristics, both positive attributes and the dis-eases of our environment. It's up to us to heal from those, and healing is always possible. That's the miracle of the human being. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
For the first time ever, the Action Altadena Build Together Fair and Altadena Rebuild Trade Show are coming together. If you were impacted by the Eaton Canyon fire and you're still asking, where do I start? This is for you. Join James Farr, host of KBLA Talk 1580's Conversation Live, Altadena Rising, Sunday, April 19th from 12 to 4 p.m. at the Collaboratory in Altadena. Get connected to the resources, experts, and support you need all in one place. Plus music, food, games, and prize drawings for the whole family. For more information, visit Eventbrite Altadena Rebuild Trade Show, because rebuilding starts together.
Imagine every pregnant person in LA County having the support they deserve. A doula on every block. Doulas provide emotional, physical, and informational support during pregnancy, through labor, and beyond. Medi-Cal now covers doula care. That means you can get the support you need or train to support families in your community. The LA County Medi-Cal Doula Hub is here to help. Learn more and get started today at ladoulahub.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Created with a share of the 1984 Olympic Games surplus, LA 84 began operations in 1985 as a grant-making and educational foundation. Today, the LA 84 Foundation supports hundreds of nonprofit youth sports organizations throughout Southern California annually, trains coaches, commissions research, convenes conferences, and maintains the world's premier Olympic and sports library collection. They are transforming lives and communities through the power of youth sports. To find out about youth sports programs for yourself or your child, and to get information about the grants and support they offer to schools and nonprofits, or if you want to make a donation, please visit la84.org. That's la84.org. Or you can call them at 323-730-4600. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive and we don't black down.
Okay, there was a bunch of other things I wanted to talk about, but that, Afrika Bambaataa conversation is important because we're going to see more folks passing, and also his passing is a big moment in hip hop. So yeah, how do we move forward? How do we tell history? A palate refresher for you this morning: Viktor Orban is no longer going to be the Prime Minister of Hungary. Why do we care about that? Well, first of all, he's Donald Trump's BFF in politics at the moment. The only person that the president was able to cite during the debate as being sort of a role model and friend on the international stage, a genuine authoritarian fascist in Europe. He's been over Hungary for 16 years. He loses to Peter Magyar, who will also win a supermajority in the parliament there. And this is a big deal also because it will change the whole dynamic of the European Union. This guy was really tight with not just Trump, but also President Vladimir Putin. He got his butt kicked on Sunday. It was the biggest turnout in Hungary's history as a democracy, and he is going down hard. He conceded while crying. And this is a guy that's been blocking a lot of things in the EU, including aid to Ukraine, and pushing back hard against Russia. And so this is kind of the end of an era in Hungary, but it's going to have impact in a lot of other areas throughout Europe, in terms of Russia's power base, and in terms of the president's power base, especially when you consider that they sent the vice president, J.D. Vance, over there to campaign for Orban. That was a flop. The president's been campaigning with his keyboard fingers. That was another flop. So that's really great news. Europe is sighing a sigh of relief this morning. Well, yeah, this morning, yesterday evening. And it is, even though it's not something we may think about and talk about every day, it is good news. It's good news because hopefully it signals the world pulling back from this far right-wing, fascist, authoritarian, so-called populism that's represented by people like Donald Trump, people like Viktor Orban, people like the Salvadorian President Bukele, who have this populist, for the people, everyman image, even though in reality they are taking away rights, imprisoning people. What Viktor Orban did with the press in Hungary is clearly what the President of the United States is striving to do with the press here in the U.S. He actually forced some of those news outlets to be sold to his friends and basically turned them into de facto state press outlets where the government controls what is said and not said. And I would liken that to what our president has done in twisting arms to push for Larry Ellison, one of his billionaire oligarch bro supporters, to own TikTok, to own CBS, to possibly own CNN, and Warner Brothers, this consolidation of media power in the hands of oligarch billionaires who support the president, very similar to the Viktor Orban playbook there in Hungary. So this is an important defeat for authoritarianism, right-wing white supremacist populism. And when you talk about anti-immigrant sentiment in Europe, it is largely anti-black because many of those migrants are coming from Africa, some from the Middle East. It is definitely good news for the global pushback against fascism and authoritarianism, the defeat of Viktor Orban in Hungary. Looking so forward to talking with poet, author, community organizer, and former gubernatorial candidate Luis Rodriguez when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. The country's second largest school district looks like it'll be in session this week. Sunday morning, Los Angeles Unified announced the district and the teachers union struck a tentative 2-year agreement, possibly avoiding a strike that was set to start tomorrow. LAUSD says teachers' pay scales will go up 11.65%, and the starting salary for a teacher will be $70.